All right, our next drawing here, again, to get us better acquainted with um, using some of the different modeling tools in Fusion, is going to be on the AutomobloxWindshield. So you can take a look at the windshield that you have. We're going to actually create and model this. We're going to start with the sketch, and we're going to use some line and arc tools here. So I'm going to create a sketch on the front viewing plane here. So we will just start with a line. And as you take a look at it, we know that this line is going to be 3.040 inches from the handout at 0 degrees. So we'll go ahead and place that line. Next, I'm going to create a arc here. So we're going to use the 3-point arc. Now, I don't really care right now about these. We've got different arcs, so I'm just going to kind of place some stuff here on each of these points. So it doesn't necessarily matter. At this point, we got these 3 arcs. So if you want to kind of keep them somewhat close at hand, that's fine too. Notice, be careful, that just kind of gave me a tangent constraint, so I want to delete that out, and I think that actually made that as a line instead. So real quick way we can check that. Nope, it did give me a small radius, which is fine. So we'll go ahead and delete that to take a look at it. Now we've got some more dimensional constraints here as well. So let's go ahead. I've got a dimensional constraint from here to this point, which should be at 1 inch. So let's type that in. Notice how everything kind of adjusts accordingly, so don't panic on these as we kind of move these constraints around. So this constraint is going to be 0.64, so that's going to be that dimensional constraint. From this point over to here, we want this to be 2.550. And then I have another dimensional constraint that goes from that point to that endpoint. And those are, again, the endpoints of those arcs. And this should be 3.010. So now we have first established and have kind of made these geometric dimensions. So now we're going to kind of delete, and this isn't intuitive, so you kind of have to understand we're kind of putting the position that where we want that to be on here using the dimension constraints. But now we're going to go back in order for this to work correctly. We're going to have to kind of delete some of these dimensional constraints out, because what I really want at this point is some tangency points between these arcs. So let's try this. So if I go right now and I create a tangency point, well, it actually did. So it actually bought that and gave me that tangency point by maintaining those dimensions. So let's do the same thing over here. Notice then we kind of came out a little bit with this in terms of the dimensions. So we're not quite where we want to be. So we still have a couple more dimensions to be placing on here. So we've done our length dimensions, but now we need to add a radius dimension here. So this is going to be a radius of 6. So see how this changes everything now. This is going to be a radius of 0.4. Now notice, this is saying it's over constrained. So this is kind of where I'm talking about with some of these things here as we go. This one is an over constrained dimension as well. So let's kind of delete some of these out. So let's delete this and this. So, and see if this will allow us to kind of place some of these dimensions, or these radial dimensions back in place. So this one needs to be 6 inches. So, and this one needs to be the 0.4. Okay, now with that done, so we have those in there, let's just double check to see if our dimensions stayed the way they should be. 2.550. So let's change this to 2.550. now we can kind of go back and reapply these dimensions. From here over, that should be 3.010. So notice now how it's kind of changing some stuff up. So again, this was over constrained. So, and from here to here, if we tried to apply that one, that is also going to be over constrained, so it doesn't like that. But this gives us our general shape here, and we are fully constrained as we go. Now, let's finish the sketch. Now that we've got that taken care of, come back in here. We're going to extrude this. So we need to extrude this. I believe as we take a look at the drawing, this is going to be extruded 2.55 back. Okay, so that takes care of that. So lastly, so I want to apply some fillets. So let's go ahead and let's use the 3D fillet tool. So I'm going to apply a fillet here and here. Let's see if it'll let us do both of these at the same time. And the radius on these is going to be 0.5. So there we go. So it's starting to come into shape and look. So let's kind of rotate it around, see how it has kind of generated those radiuses. So that's looking pretty good. Now we're going to use what is referred to as the shell tool. So as I rotate this around, we have the shell tool right here, and I'm going to click on the bottom of this. Let's kind of rotate around to the bottom. It wants a dimension, so the thickness of this is going to be 70 thousandths. Now, take a look at what that just did, and this is pretty spiffy. So if spiffy is still a word, I know it's not part of our normal vocabulary, but notice how that just kind of took all of that out on the inside. That looks pretty cool. So let's go ahead and take care of this. While we're untitled up here, I think now is a good time for us to do a file save as. So let's kind of come back in here. We're going to save this. So let's go and save this as AutomobloxWindshield hyphen your first initial followed by your last name. Make sure it's in the Automoblocks folder and save that. So we've got that taken care of. All right. Now we've got some more geometry to do, and we're going to kind of draw a rectangle. So as we kind of complete the inside portion of this, I'm not sure exactly what we want to call the projection that kind of comes out of the bottom of this, but I'm going to rotate up this way, and we're going to sketch right now on this surface. And we're going to create our part geometry for there. Now, pay attention as you are looking at this. So we're going to create a rectangular sketch here. So we're going to kind of just, I'm not worried too much about dimensions at this point because all the dimensions are given me on my T9 dimension drawings worksheet, so that you should have. So we're going to take a look at those, and we can see the dimensions from there. So I'm going to go from here to there, which is 0.68, and then from this edge over to the back edge of this rectangle is 2.22. So I'm setting these dimensions. And from the bottom edge, so I'm going to go from here to there, this is 0.29. Place that in, and then I have another dimension that is 0.2 or 2.26 that is going from this edge to the back side here as well, 2.26. Enter that in, so that kind of gives that to me. Notice we have 4 150 thousandths radiuses, so let's get these radiuses here. 0.15, so get them on all 4 corners. So make sure that they're in there. hit enter to get out of it. So that takes care of it. And notice, since I dimensioned the way I dimensioned, I'm going to use my offset tool. So this offset tool right here, and I'm going to come on the inside. Taking a look at this, we know that that offset is 50 thousandths of an inch thick. So we're going to offset this by 50 thousandths. 0.050 and enter. All right, so that gives me that line. Now, we're not quite done with this just yet. So, but I'm kind of at 10 minutes here already on this video. So I'm going to kind of stop right there so you can kind of rotate it around. I'm going to finish this video and save it. And then I will come back with the next part on this video. This is pretty cool. I think this is one of my favorite parts to model. So, and I think you guys will like it too. So stick around, come back for part 2.